Okay, you gorgeous little thing. As promised, I was going to talk to you about self-care. I hate that term self-care. It just feels, ugh. But, I feel like it's been overused and kind of maybe so in the kind of commercial space that to use to sell stuff that I don't, that's why I don't like to use it. But you need your own care activity for yourself to replenish yourself, whatever it is. So in my book, and I'm just going to tell you what basically, it's several pages long, and in this section on this day, it's day 25, the burnout battle. I'm going to give you really just the nuts and bolts. I'd like to give you more, but if you're like on the edge of just, I just need to figure out some way to do something for myself whenever I can. So I'm going to give it to you in a very, very short video or audio format, however you decide to take this information in and just go with there. Hi, my name is Abigail, here to normalize these conversations and education about dying so we die better at end of death and dying so we die better at end of life and hopefully live a good one till we get there. So let's get into it today. The caregiver burnout, or not even just caregiver, but just burnout in general, self-care. How do you take care of yourself? How do you replenish yourself? So you might have heard of habit stacking. This is not something I made up. This is from, I think James Cleary writes about it. I know that many other people address it and talk about it. But for this caregiver, not caregiver, I'm sorry. I keep using caregiver because my book is focused on caregivers. But basically, for this kind of taking care of yourself type of thing, it does come in really handy. So basically, I'm just going to give it to you. Basically, what you want to do is take something that you do every single day. Some people say, I brush my teeth every day. You know what? People who are really burnt out, who are either burnt out from being a caregiver or just burnt out from whatever it may be, doesn't matter what, doesn't matter. Maybe you don't even get a chance to brush your teeth. Maybe that in itself is a challenge and you're hoping one day to brush your teeth. Whatever it is, maybe you're trying to move a little bit more. I'm not going to say workout, but moving your body is just, if you can move your body, that's important. Maybe you're getting on your butt about, oh, I ate this, I ate that. Trust me, I did that for so many years. I have a whole other theory about that. But anyway, take something that you do every single day. And if you're like, okay, what do I do every single day? I know for sure you have to go to the bathroom. I know for sure you have to go to the bathroom. I mean, we can't live usually 5 or 6 hours without going to the bathroom, peeing, pooping, whatever it may be. Okay, so you got to go to the bathroom. So what I will say is tie your caregiving activity for yourself, your self-care, your self-replenishing activity to that. So you always want to tie it to that. When I talked with my staff, because my staff worked out in the field and they would, be in their car traveling to patients' homes, I would always say, when you're getting out of your car or getting in your car, or either or both. I already addressed either or both. So whenever you're about to leave your car, do your box breathing one round. And I just said, just get into a habit of it because you use the thing that you're already doing and you're stacking another habit on top of it. That's basically what habit stacking is. Well, no. I think, yes, that is what it is. So, and I could be butchering the whole definition. This is how I interpreted it. So, and again, I didn't come up with it, but this is how I interpreted it. So you're doing something already. You just put another habit right on top of it and you go with that. And this self-replenishing activity doesn't have to take minutes, hours. So the activity can just take a matter of seconds. So this is what I would usually tell my staff. Okay, you're getting out of your car, do your little box breathing. I printed out a little card for them and, so that they can put it, and I laminated it so they can put it in their car and just kind of put it face up. I really don't know how many times they used it, if they used it at all, but it was just something. So you take what you're doing. For example, I know for sure you have to go to the bathroom, okay? You have to go to the bathroom to do your ostomy, to pee, to manage period stuff, whatever it is, you gotta go. So I want you to try tying your caregiving, your care, self-care, replenishing care activity to that. Now, what I do have to say is make sure you wash your hands. And maybe you're just not washing your hands. So maybe just make sure you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom, okay? Now, if you're having trouble, say, brushing your teeth and you can't brush your teeth, maybe do some mouthwash. Just use some mouthwash, then go to the bathroom. Or go to the bathroom, make sure you wash your hands, and then just throw some mouthwash in there, in your mouth, swirl it around a couple of times, and then spit it out. So at least you're doing something for your oral care, something, okay? Other things that you can do. Maybe you've got the bathroom thing down, maybe you're brushing your teeth down, but maybe you are just trying to regulate yourself and do some self-regulation, and you want to do something for that. You know, the breathing thing, I always got annoyed when people say, just take a deep breath. I'm like, oh. When you are over, adrenalized, that's not really a word or term, but when you're just like over and you're just really in the muck of things, it's hard to just take a deep breath, okay? Now, with this said, breathing does have a function, and there is a reason why people always resort to that. It's because it does change the chemistry of your blood. If you change the chemistry of your blood, you change the chemistry of your body. So it is actually a very quick thing that you can do to alter the chemistry of your body and your nervous system for a moment, not for a long term, but for a moment. And then if you practice it regularly, if you get in a good habit, it can do a lot of good things. So if you want to do the breathing thing, the most important thing, say you're going to the bathroom, and while you're peeing, just breathe in, and then just make sure when you're breathing out, make it a little bit longer than your inhale. That's the biggest key. If you make your exhale longer than your inhale, that helps you to start going into the more relaxed part of your nervous system. You may have to do that a few times. Of course, my videos, my content, everything is not medical advice. Before you're doing anything, obviously physical or doing anything with your treatment and stuff like that, you need to make sure to always consult your physician before doing that, okay? So I always have to say that. It's already said here, but before we do this. But anyway, so you can do that. Now, if you want to do a little bit more interesting or advanced, if you want to be a little more advanced with your breathing, you can do the box breathing. And basically you create a little box to your breath. You breathe in, then you breathe in for 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, whatever it may be, whatever works for you. Breathe in for said seconds, hold for said seconds, the same amount. Exhale for said seconds, and then hold. So you're basically breathing in, holding, exhaling, holding, creating a box with your breath. So say you can do 3 seconds. You inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, exhale for 3 seconds, and then hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. My seconds aren't totally accurate. But for this, you get the point. So that could be something you can do. Box breathing, when I used it, really seemed to help. But if I don't really feel like thinking, I just breathe in, and I make sure to pause in between my inhales and exhales. And that seems to work really well for me. I don't, at this stage in my life, you've heard maybe my last video, early menopause, 13 medications, 13, 14, depending on the month. All this, I was recovering from severe burnout, being hospitalized and everything when I was back in the States, blah, blah, blah. I really like simplicity. I like simplicity more and more the older I get. So this is what I do. And when I work with my neurofeedback person, if you guys want more information about that, I'm always happy to share. When I work with my neurofeedback person, on the days where I can only do neurofeedback for 1 or 2 minutes because my system can't take a lot, it actually gets very overwhelmed when I go into relaxed state. That doesn't tell you what's wrong. So I'm getting to a point where my nervous system is going to be even healthier and more relaxed after all my just shit from before. So we just did the breathing, and then I also did some tapping. If you guys are interested in tapping, there are millions of videos about EMDR, which is really with the eye movements, but tapping is really, really good. I'm not going to show you here because I'm not an expert at all in it, only an expert in my body, but there are apps, there are YouTube videos, all for free, really good at showing how you do tapping. And just make sure that I always recommend you work with a professional before you do something like that, of course. So anyway, all of this said, habit stacking is really a key with this care, self-care, self-replenishing type of stuff. If you think you can do 10 minutes of meditation or breathing, I want you to do 5 and aim for 5. If you think you can do 5, I want you to 2.5. If you think you can do 2 minutes, do 1 minute. If you think you can do 1 minute, do 30 seconds. If you think you can do 30 seconds, do 15 seconds. I want you to aim for a bar that you can reach, because then you start to develop a way that you can more easily attain this goal of yours, and then you start to trust and build that trust within your body. And there will be days where you will miss, and that's okay. That's actually okay with your nervous system to miss. It's not your time to go, oh, you can't stick with anything, you're such a failure, all that kind of blah, blah, blah. No, it's okay for you to take a day off or 2 days off and like from your routine of new goal, whatever it is, and then get back to it the next day. And then you start to continue to build trust with yourself. And you can do this, I swear. Now, if you want do you want other ideas? Would you like some other ideas? I think it's 167. Okay. No. Okay. 172. Other ideas for your replenishing activities. I'm just going to read them off really quickly. You can do whatever you want. Let me know if you have questions. And again, always talk with your physician, medical provider before doing these. Any movement. Sure, exercise group classes, blah, 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 blah. Good for community building, those group exercises are, but any movement. If you're confined to movement, breathing is something that's movement, so do it. Fueling yourself with healthy foods. Stop, of course, maybe you're diabetic or whatever, but stop, and you have to follow your doctor's orders, but maybe stop this is what I hated and I just always did it. I would always start restricting. Stop restricting, focus more on fueling yourself with good foods. If you're eating this shit anyway, focus on adding good, healthy foods into your diet. Obviously, this isn't medical advice. And at least drinking some water, because at least you're getting some good stuff in there with the bad stuff that you're eating. Listen to music you like. Listen to something that you like. Go outside, especially around nature. If you don't have nature, get a plant or go look at a plant downstairs in your apartment complex, whatever it is. Nature is extremely grounding. It's the most natural form of nature. Do you know what I mean? It's natural form. Natural form is really grounding for our natural biological bodies. Go talk to a plant or just talk to a plant in silence if that feels better, or just touch a plant or put your foot next to it, whatever it is. Creative activities. I have to say something about creative activities because even when you're tired, this creativity, especially when you have a tiny bit more energy, brings us back into other parts of ourselves. I'm kind of reading from the book. And it can be fulfilling and energizing. You can go in to that dance class that you've been missing and hoping to do and that you did for years before you went into your menopause. And maybe you go back and it's like, oh, I'm a little tired, but I'm going to try. I have enough energy just to give it a shot, maybe just do 5-10 minutes, and then you feel really good. Other things, gardening, doing stuff with your hands, doing creative stuff. I don't care if it's not good. That doesn't matter. Paint something to throw it away. Do something creative because that engages with a different part of your nervous system, and that actually can be really replenishing, more than you know. Therapy and/or groups, support groups, blah, blah, blah. Important for your emotional health, important for isolation, because isolation, especially in times of despair and especially in times of burnout, is not healthy. You really need that support. Breathing exercises, we already went over. And I said, as with any activities, always consult your physician, okay? So yes, you don't need to read my book to get that information. Obviously, a lot of stuff is online too, but that's just a quick overview, very quick overview of day 25, I think it was. All right, let me know if you have questions. I love you to bunches. And a new year is going to be upon us in like a matter of weeks. And holy doody-doos, that's going to happen. And I don't know. Do you need to do New Year's resolutions? I don't know. I don't know if you need to. If you're doing anything to better yourself, great. You can start doing that now. But let's take the pressure off of the New Year thing. This is all just a real cultural thing. And maybe just stop putting the pressure on yourself and go in with it as you wanting just to care for yourself. And make that the priority, because you certainly deserve it. I love you bunches. Let's continue normalizing these conversations and education about dying better so we die better at end of life. And just as importantly, live a good one till we get there. This is about living a really good one till we get there. All right. I love you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.